Peace, y'all. It's your man Dave with my brother Quest, the man bringing you all things marriage, paying you huge dividends on your investment in time with us. We're talking about love, sex, having children, money, spirituality, life, communication, and anything else to help you thrive and win in your relationships. And guess what? This is grown folks' business. So get ready to make grown-up decisions. You know why? Because marriage ain't for suckers. That's the name of the program. Marriage ain't for suckers. All right, let's get into it. Hey, yo, Quest, it's time to give the people something, man. What we talking about today?
What up, what up, what up, what up? Y'all already know what it is. Welcome to another edition of the Marriage Ain't for Suckers podcast. You know what I'm saying? I am joined, y'all already know who I am. But I'm joined by, you know what I'm saying? The Jamaican, I don't want to say the Bayesian sensation, but you know what I'm saying? C would say the Bayesian sensation, the Jamaican sensation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, my man, my man, L. David Harris.
This is so dramatic.
Yeah, I got
Yo,
you.
yo.
I got you, man.
How y'all doing out there, man?
I got to, man.
Do I have an identity crisis, Quest? Like, I've lived so many places, man. I got 55 different accents. Like I was telling you last night, Quest. Don't say fun-to again. Don't do that. But I just said, man, where I get that from?
You did. I don't know. I think that's a West Coast thing.
Yeah, I got cousins down south too. So when I visit them, it's kind of like, what? No, but we in here, man. Yeah.
I love it.
What up, though?
I love it. Man, sure, I'm good, man. I just want to shout out everybody, you know what I'm saying, who is listening via your various platforms, you know what I'm saying? Shouts out to Simone Frazier. You know what I'm saying? She said thank you. A blessed day to us both. Shouts out to her.
Respect.
And shouts out to everybody else who listens to the podcast, whether it be live or where you listen to the rebroadcast via, you know, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, marriageaintforsuckers.com. It's Spreaker. You know what I'm saying? It's a couple of places we have.
Yeah, all the usual suspects. Shout to y'all.
Yeah. So,
Yo,
yeah,
we
shouts out to
2.5. We in the top 2.5% of all podcasts in the world, bro. And we took a 3-year break. Isn't that a blessing?
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. And I'm glad that just means, like, for real, we have some loyal people and some loyal supporters. And I want to shout them out for real, for being loyal supporters. For real. Yeah, without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. And so I'm eternally grateful. Simone Fraser says, thank you. Yep. I'm grateful, and full of gratitude. I'm honored, and privileged that me and D, first of all, I'm privileged to, you know what I'm saying, be able to come week after week and do this with my dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though the water separates us, you know what I'm saying? Like, for real, the water couldn't make us no closer. You know what I'm saying? And I don't take that for light. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I'm thankful to y'all. Big things happening or have happened. But before I even jump into it, how's, you know what I'm saying, things on the rock?
Life is life. I'm out here looking at, on my right hand. I left the studio window open. Yeah. So I'm looking through and I see Apple, and you're like, Apple, everybody have Apple. New York, Apple. You know, I live in New York. I lived in West Virginia. Like, I lived in some Apple capital. No, on the Star Apple, man, I talk, you know.
Yeah, what are you talking then?
Hawaii apple. Jamaican apple. So that's right there. And then to the left, of course, you got the coconut trees. And then right through there, I see the giant breadfruit trees. And then down there, cherry. And then over that side, I could continue, but we don't got that kind of time, bro. So that's how we are. That's how we are.
Geeked.
Let's go.
I'm super geeked. So yeah, man. I appreciate, man. I can't wait till December, because December, you know what I'm saying? Unless we, you know, head to one of our events before, then we'll get to link up.
Yeah, it might be September, man. I don't know. Like, we'll see.
Shoot.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying to
Don't
make that
threaten me with
happen.
a good time. You know what I'm saying? Don't threaten me with a good time. So yeah, man, I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Shots out to Faith and Zoe this week. They did a fantastic job at throwing me a your boy turned 50 on Sunday, right?
What?
We legit been here half a century.
This is
And
50.
yeah, this is 50. And they threw me a party Saturday night. And man, everybody that came through, shouts out to TJ and Vi, man. Pastor TJ Tyus, you know what I'm saying? He's the associate pastor for APOC, A Place to Change. He was there. And his lovely wife Vi was there. Jorge Kayla, you know what I'm saying? The squad came through, people came through and represented, man. There were so many different, the usual suspects, you know what I'm saying?
I saw Naja.
Yeah, Naja was there too. Naja and
Eddie.
yeah, she was there too. Her and E.L. Butler, her husband.
Yeah.
Who else was there? The Robinsons was there, you know what I'm saying? Lemoyne and Crystal, AB and Dante were there. Tim and Shonda was in the building, you know what I'm saying? The family was there, man. The family was there. Both my parents, and when I say both of my parents, I mean both sets of my parents, they were there. Let me tell you something, D, and I think people going to see why this means so much for today's topic when we get in. But they were all at the hotel. When was it? Friday night. Everybody was in the lobby just, you know, sitting down, enjoying each other's company, fellowshipping, or whatever the case may be. And I heard that my dad had gotten in because the hotel is like 5 minutes away from the house, right? And so I drove over there, like legit. The hotel's like legit 5 minutes from the crib. Jumped in the truck, drove down there, and I walk in the door of the lobby and I see them all over in the far corner. And my father and my stepfather were chumming it up and laughing like, I mean, they really have known each other for years, but like just to behold it, like is one thing. The last time I saw them like that together is, I would say maybe about 5 years ago, 6 years ago. We took a trip to Puerto Rico. No, it had to be more than that. We took a trip to Puerto Rico and all of us went. And I got a picture with my father on one side and my stepfather on the other side. And man,
wow.
You know what I'm saying? It was big then. But just to roll into the hotel lobby and see them there laughing and chumming it up like for real. And I'll tell you why. Like, it was so amazing to me. Not necessarily because of them two, but I remember when I was at a young age and because of divorce, I remember when my mother and my father used to go at it.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Not in a physical kind of way, but in a verbal kind of way. And I know words are powerful. Sometimes I'd rather take a punch in the face than hear some of the stuff. You know what I'm saying? That used to be said. And to see my mother and my father, I'm talking about good friends.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Growth,
and I don't
man.
know. Growth, wisdom. I don't know if we can chalk it up to all of that. I know we can chalk it up to that, but there's some other things in there, realizations, you know what I'm saying, premonitions. I don't know, D. There's a lot of things that go on. And so I think it's apropos, man, that as I get older and just watching them, I made some decisions early in, between the time I got divorced and the time I got remarried again. And I've been consistent in those adjustments, and not just, okay, I made this adjustment in this one area and this is the way it's going to stay until the day that God calls me home. It's a constant place of adjustment. So you make one here and then the world changes, circumstances changes, life changes, life be life. And as I like to say, and then you got to make another adjustment.
Yeah.
And then it changes again and you make another adjustment.
Yeah.
And as you matriculate through the years from 30 to 40 and now to 50, like, I'm still making adjustments. And that's basically what life is. It's a series of decisions. And I'm hoping that some of the decisions will garner the results that you're looking for. And if it doesn't, then you have to yet make more decisions, right? or more adjustments, if you will. So I wanted to just dive into this thing, D, real quick. Yeah, I'm 50. You know what I'm saying? In other words, I'm getting older. And the question is, am I getting better or am I becoming bitter?
Yeah.
Because the truth of the matter is there are some people who don't realize no matter how old you are, you can still make the necessary adjustments. And I just want to keep it within the context of marriage and relationship. You may not be the person that you want to be, but as long as you grow and not remain the person that you currently are.
Can I just say, people say you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Oh, they lied.
But listen, me and a dog.
Yeah, that's first off.
That's the first thing. Like, I'm not a dog. So, like, miss me with all of that.
Yeah.
You're just saying that some people have made the decision that they will not grow. Yeah. They have chosen death. Like, I'm not a dog, so that don't apply to me. Right? So I'm thankful that, listen, I have seen so many people who are our elders make adjustments and grow and learn and make more adjustments. So I'm really over the sort of negative chatter that people give, like that stupid ism to me. I'm going to call it that. And like, I really couldn't care less what people think. Like, old dog, new tricks. That don't apply to responsible humans. I couldn't care less what you think about that. Hopefully you'll learn, like, you know what? You're right. You're right. I accepted that stupid ism in the past. But the truth is, there are people who are making decisions, and whether it's young or old, we know of a young person right now who made a poor choice, right? Made a poor choice or a series of poor choices over a period of time. And you could say of that same age group, you can't teach them, but of course you can. Everybody can learn. All of us can grow. And it's a privilege. So are we getting bitter or better? It's a matter of decision. You're making a choice. Are you? You got to answer that. Like, you getting bitter or better? That's on you. Decide.
It's funny, D. If you choose not to be better, like, there's no in between. You know what I'm saying? The end result is going to be bitter. And the end result is going to be bitter because life is changing around you, but it's nothing worse than to see that uncle, all of us got one, who is still, you know what I'm saying? We in the new age, and my man still got a tape deck, a Walkman. You know what I'm saying? He still wear socks up to his knees with the Hawaiian outfit on and the shoes that's supposed to look like a sandal, but they hard bottom shoes. And
holding on to the past.
Oh, my man think that he is fresher than fresh. Right. And you might be fresh, but that was fresh back in 72. You know what I'm saying? Like, we in 2022, 23, you know what I'm saying? And you still, yeah. And so what I've realized more than anything else in terms of my growth is that what worked for me in seasons past don't necessarily mean, and truth be told, it's going to work for me now. Like, the stuff that worked for you back then, it was for that time and place and space.
Bruh, those size 31 waist pants that you wore back in the day don't work for you now.
No, they don't work for me now.
They too tight.
They don't work for me now.
They too tight.
I need at least a 32, 33. You know what I'm saying?
You see? And so what used to fit doesn't fit. And if you squeeze yourself into that, Quest, and you're not fat, but you're growing, if you squeeze yourself into them little pants, then you get what you deserve. But I want to talk about go ahead before I get to the elephant. Go ahead.
No, I don't want you to lose it.
I'm not going to forget this one.
Okay, good. Some of us, and this is just a sidebar conversation, as you're getting older, some of us, just based on what you hear, I just heard the Holy Spirit say to me, some people love people that don't fit into their life. I'm going to say it one more time. Some people love other people that don't fit into their life. So you love this person. You want to be in relationship with this person. But because of who you are, how you operate, what your belief system is, like, and you got to be careful. because this is the first way. If you are building anything, what you are doing, if you decide to matriculate through relationship and ignoring this kind of stuff, what you're not building is a happy ever after life. What you are now building is a road to divorce. Because you decided to love somebody that don't fit. I'm sorry, D. I just wanted to interject that piece in there.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in on that and then move to what I was thinking too. Like,
yeah,
loving someone who doesn't fit is not the problem.
Yeah.
The problem is not moving according to principle and values while you love.
Wow.
Right? So I don't want to make like love the bad word, but there are choices that people make when they are blindly moving in their relationships, love relationships, right? You love the man that's knocking you out once a week. The love is not the challenge. It's the behavior and the response to his abuse. You love the woman who's in an emotional affair. The problem is not the love. The problem is, how do we respond to the emotional affair? And on we can go, right? So we can be in control. We must be in control of our own thoughts and behaviors. We cannot dictate or be in control of other people's. But here's the elephant, right? Because you use the context, bro, of our age, right? We on that 50 flex now, that half a century flex, right? I'm coming up on you in less than in 2 months-ish, right? So there are things that change. This is the big pink elephant, and it's dancing in your living room. Things are changing in our bodies and our emotions, right? I'm talking about hormone levels are changing for both men and women, but women more, right? Men, some men, or a lot of men, your prostate size is changing.
Lord have mercy.
And if your prostate size is changing, then it's squeezing the channel between the bladder and out of your body.
Lord have mercy.
And so some people are not getting rest at night. Women for one reason, men for another reason. Using the bathroom 2, 3, 4, 5 times a night. That's not happening to me at this moment, but bro, I've seen it. Hot flashes for women, perimenopause, full bore menopause, right? Alopecia, like men hair dropping out for male pattern baldness, women's hair dropping out because something is going wrong with the hormone levels. Like, this is real stuff. And now you add relationship. Forget any diagnoses. Like those are extra. But just the thing that comes as a pathway between where you were at age 31 and where you are moving into this new station. Like youths go from adolescent time through puberty, and you're like, yo, what is going wrong in their brains? Nothing's going wrong in their brains. They're in a transition. So now that you're going into that 50 zone, there are things that your mind, your emotions, your body are going through before you even begin to discuss relationship. And we have to be honest with that stuff.
Come on.
Right? So how do you juggle the fact that your mind and your body are impacted based on something you literally cannot control? You can do all of the necessary health adjustments, but that's not going to have necessarily immediate effect on hormone levels. It's not going to have immediate effect on how that impacts the emotional and mental health side of a grown, responsible woman. But now she feels out of her mind because of this thing that is a rite of passage, unfortunately. Eve messed up, like Adam messed up in Eden, and now we got to deal with that. When the dude is in his marriage and his privates don't function the way that the society has sort of washed a man's brain to have the bravado like and say private part's supposed to function this way and he can feel whatever way about it, but oh no, sorry, I'm sorry, your prostate is clamping down and it's your situation ain't working no more, and now you draw for the blue pill. Like I've seen dudes lose it over that, man, and I've seen their relationship go. Are you bitter or better?
Dude will lose it over that.
You see, your T levels are off. You see, so listen, this is stuff before you get to the relationship part.
Yep.
Now what? Bitter or better? Midlife crisis, dude come in here with some big ticket item and you're like, where did you get that from? He bought a boat so he can go on the river because he see people driving SUVs down to the river on Saturdays and Sundays, and now he got a trailer and a boat, and you're like, you just said you were going to lunch and son went to Gander Mountain and bought a boat, and you're like, you don't even fish, bro. Like, where did you get that from? Midlife crisis.
Yep.
That's before you get to the relationship part. You see?
Yep.
So bitter or better? Where we going with that?
So it's crazy because these are things that have to be considered before you get into relationship, because if you can't do them on an individual level, how are you going to do them in relationship with somebody else? Because here's what's going to happen. What you do when you make these moves, they don't only affect you.
True
they
indeed.
affect you and everybody else attached to you.
True indeed.
Right? I just want to turn, you know what I'm saying, shift direction just a little bit 2D, and then ask, how are we in response to, because there was a time where, there was a time where when Faith and I would get into it, we would be talking mighty loud.
You mean like you would have a disagreement?
Yes, we would have a disagreement. It would be mighty loud. It would be a lot of passion involved, and there would be a lot of hand movements.
Jamaicans and Puerto Ricans in the same house. Pause.
I'm just trying to tell you, Lord help us. But I got to a place in space because of growth, and call it if you want, getting older. You know, I would chalk it up to my belief system, and what I was doing was not pleasing to God. Now, people might say, well, oh, she was doing it right with you in there. Yeah, but I can't control what Faith do. But what I can do is control what I do. And so I got to a place where I was just like, this is not productive, D. And so no matter how angry I got, no matter how frustrated I got, I decided to lower my voice from an 8-9 to about a 2-3.
Low and slow.
Low and slow. Right? And I would say things to be intentional and deliberate about not calling her. I never did call her out of her name anyway, because I just wasn't about that life in this, as this new married man, right? I was never about that. And one of the things, though, I did stop doing, though, was trying to manipulate the situation with my words so that I can get things to move in my favor. I stopped doing that as well. What I started doing was having, number one, conversations to understand where she was coming from and to help assist her from a place back of anger to a place of peace, where she was happy with what she was doing. And I was just happy just to understand where she was coming from. And the only way that I would go against it, which was not really a lot, if there was 1 or 2 times, was when it went against what I believed morally, right?
So values-based.
That never really happened.
Values-based.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Here's the funny thing about all of that is that one day I watched her, D, tell a community of people that we run that when he decided to lower his voice, she was talking specifically to me, being intentional and deliberate over a period of time, that she said, I was the only one that was out here looking crazy, still talking at an 8-9 while he remained at a 2-3. And I just kindly started lowering my voice when we had these conversations. And we're at a place right now where I don't even think I can remember the last time. Her words. I don't think I can remember the last time that, we had a disagreement on that level. Now they're pretty much discussions as to what is the best route that we should take concerning this thing that we disagree about. Because you can sometimes, when you operate in the youth or in the immature, for lack of a better term, the immature lane, to think that your partner is your arch rival or your nemesis or you're competing or you know what I'm saying? And that's never really it. And I never want to make Faith feel like that, especially in this season. I need you to walk with me. You know what I'm saying? What does the Bible say? Woe be unto a man that when he falls, don't have somebody to pick him up. The chances are greater, right? Even if you don't agree with me, that you respect me, and chances are greater that you'll help me get up, as opposed to if you feel like I'm your, you know what I'm saying? Your nemesis or your, right? So that's the first part, is just realizing. And I think you and I have been talking about it because we're a part of the UOU mastermind, right? Is that one of the things we've been focusing on is focusing on the solution and not the problem. And so sometimes things are going to happen. Now, we can talk about the anger we feel and the frustration we feel if we just want to get it off of our chest. But when we choose to sit there and wallow in that, right? What we're basically doing is now we're about to start operating in the spirit of the enemy. Because there's something in anger. There is a recipe in anger and frustration that doesn't breed good stuff. But you can't do that if you're focusing on the solution, because you're now working towards something that is going to give you the breakthrough necessary such that you don't have to dwell here. And not only dwell here, but you can also think about what we are going to do that will not allow us to be here next time.
Yeah. So I'm going into nature just a little bit, because people can feel it like easy. Please. So if there is a fire, a flame, and you give it some oxygen, call it breeze or wind, what happens with the fire? It grows. If you have a fire and you put gas oil on it, or gasoline, petrol or kerosene oil on it, gas oil, what happened to the fire? It grows. And so one thing that people need to understand, since we're talking about like sort of a conflict and anger and louder voices, the reason why low and slow is helpful partially is because the body responds to it. For instance,
favorably.
Yes. If you are shouting, your heart rate is increasing. If somebody else is shouting, they're trying to get above you or get their point in, their heart rate is increasing. Pupils, let me see if I got it right. Pupils are probably going smaller. Now there's tunnel vision and there's a fight or flight response happening.
Oh yeah.
If both of you are yelling, it ain't flight. It's not flight.
It's guard your grill and knuckle up.
So there's only one other option, and that's fight. And now you're putting yourself in a position because you can't control yourself. You can't control the thing. You may not be able to fix your brain, but you can fix your behavior. And your behavior can take the register down. Bring that thing down and get your heart rate down, because your body is going to go where those involuntary deals are going to agree with the part you can fix, which is your voice volume.
Here's the thing too, D. It would have been bad if it was somebody outside, but now you're doing it with the one that you said you're going to love for life, the one that you're supposed to be doing life with and not around.
So you fighting now. You fighting. You're not having a disagreement. You fighting.
Oh, and you fighting them the way you would fight somebody outside.
There's only one way to fight. That's the problem. See, that's the problem, which is why we make the decision to control ourselves.
Yes, sir.
Low and slow is the simplest part of the beginning of the discussion. Now, I'm not saying that's all of it, but that's a start. Because if you keep that register all the way up, like I'm one of them dudes, Quest, like honestly, because of my behavior style, like you can run your mouth. I'm not okay with it, but you can run your mouth. But now you turn up and then you go to fight. Fight now. I don't do fight, bro. I don't do shouting anyway. But what I'm saying is, now you cross over into fight. I literally don't have a filter for Fight Quest. I don't have a filter that works. So the minute any human moves to fight, y'all misunderstood the turn the other cheek thing. So if it's a stranger on the road and the stranger takes it to fight, if I can't get away, then I have to neutralize it. How do I discern the difference between my spouse if spouse goes to fight? Now you have a problem you literally don't want, because your spouse is not a stranger. You don't want to ever fight your spouse. Full stop. There should never be self-defense. There should never be abuse. There should never be violence. But if you taking your voice up, you're already on the road to something disastrous, and you can't take it back. You literally cannot squeeze that thing back with all your apologies and whatever you do where, you know, you repent and all of that. You cannot wash out the memory of the raised voice. You cannot wash out the memory of the bad words. You cannot wash the memory of your insults and, God forbid, physical violence. You can't wash that out of your memory. Now we have a problem because we chose not to self-control.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's so funny, D, because like for real, you said we have control over ourselves. I think one of the things that really is a determining factor between being better and bitter is to be able to, one, have the mindset of focusing on the solution and not so much the problem. How do we move forward? Here's the truth of the matter. And we've said it 1,000,001 times. When you drive your car, you don't drive your car looking in your rearview mirror.
Not if you plan to be safe.
Right? Or keep your car in one piece. You're going to crash. So I'm not saying that the rearview mirror doesn't, you know, serve any purpose. It does, but it should just for a quick glance to see where you were and where you're going. But you drive your car looking through the windshield. Yeah. That's where you look. That's where you drive, because you're concerned about moving forward. And if you're concerned about moving forward and you have halfway common sense, you know that the future is always going to depend on the move that you make right now. Right. And so you know, we brothers, so you privy to a lot of my inner house stuff. And I'm telling you, like, even me, like today, as you and I had a discussion, I know without a shadow of a doubt that I'm growing as an individual. True, because like for real, there was a particular thing that you know of, right? We both talked about that I legit wanted to go through the roof with, right? And I'm talking about as a parent, right? I wanted to legit go through the roof. But here's the funny thing. Some people say, okay, well, you're talking about being a parent. How is that, you know, as a, you know, the connection between a husband and, you know, being a husband or being a wife? Well, here's the truth about that. How you do one thing is how you do everything. Let's just be honest. Right? If I deal like that with one of my children, chances are that if my wife provides the same kind of trigger, that I'll probably respond the same way to her too.
Yeah, because you're still you.
Yeah, you're still you. You're still you. You're still you. So what I know is when, you know, I got the news, I was like this. Okay. First thing out of my mouth was, how did this happen? If you could hear me asking, how did this happen? How did you allow this to happen? And I'm listening to the answers, and we still probably got a whole bunch of questions and stuff to ask or whatever. But I know without a shadow of a doubt, D, that I probably, if I was operating as the old me, not looking at the entire picture and not allowing my, in past circumstances, allowing my emotions to be the decision maker. But in this case, I can be angry, but I don't have to communicate anger, if you will, because it doesn't help the situation.
Yeah, it just literally doesn't work. It's a waste of time, and it's worse than a waste of time. It is destructive.
And I think that's it right there.
Yeah,
and some of us will throw the baby out with the bathwater because we are fully in our emotions.
Yeah, we gotta intentionally build good memories, and sometimes good memories are built in resolving legit conflicts.
Yep.
But preserving your character at the same time. Because listen, you don't have to run away from the conflict. Like, there are people who are not down with they're just not into confrontation, and I get it. Like, but resolving conflict does not mean hiding from legitimate conflict. There are times that you have to stand up.
Yeah.
There are times you got to stand down, Quest. Pause. There's a difference between laying down and standing down. We only got like 3 minutes. I don't even know why I brought that up right here. There's a difference between standing down and laying down. Like, laying down is some sucker stuff. Pause.
Yeah.
Right? But standing down is meekness. Biblical meekness is power under control. That's why the armed forces in the United States of America may say stand down, because they got the guns. They have the capacity. They got the training to do some damage. But sometimes these soldiers have to stand down because they have the capacity to do destruction, but this is not the time.
Nope.
Stand
Absolutely
down.
Not. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yep. Shouts out to Flip. He said, facts. He said, I wish I could take all my loud talks back. My daughter remembers them. And here's the funny thing, Flip, you're not the only one, because what caused me to start operating in the space and place that I do now is because when she was younger and she would do stuff that was, I would legit lose it. I would lose it, and I would scream and I would holler. But I also know that when I did that, it drove a wedge in between us. And I can't afford to do that. And you can't take it back. And I can't afford to do that because in this season of her life, she needs me more now than she's ever needed me ever before. Listen, so when she's making these mistakes and stuff, I have to allow, oh, praise God, I have to give her the same level of grace. Do you know how many times, D, I did some stuff and God just covered it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I deserved to be exposed in so many different ways in my former life. And when I say former life, I'm talking about when I was younger, right?
Mm-hmm.
God, I truth be told, I deserve death. You know what I'm saying? But he winked at my ignorance, covered my stuff up, and allowed me to work out what I needed to work out in the dark, such that it wouldn't come out in the light. Hey, come let me and you reason together. We can fix this thing right here, because if you don't fix it right here, the other side of this is exposed. And it's not because I want to expose you. It's because you were hell-bent on doing the stuff you knew you weren't supposed to do. And you went out there, and whatever repercussions came is because you decided to move out from under my covering. But I'm going to cover you, right? Because I see where your heart is. And truth be told, the same thing that he does for me is the same thing that I got to do, not only for my children, but for my wife as well.
Listen, man.
What have we learned and how we going to move forward? Yeah, D.
You talking to a young woman with your face and your blood.
Yeah.
If you behave badly, you are instructing her and training her.
Yes, sir.
To be treated badly by the man that she loves.
Yep.
You're telling her it's okay and it's appropriate for her man friend and maybe husband in sometime in the future. That it's appropriate for him to flip out because he doesn't like what you just said. Because that's what we're talking about. Responsibility and all of that. I get it. But regardless of what the situation is, you are instructing the child, the woman child, that this guy that doesn't exist yet, that she's not married to yet, that when it does happen, that he is supposed to behave like Poppy behaved that time.
Absolutely.
What? And if you saw that, you would run. Well, I don't know what you would do. I know what I would do. I would run down on the dude that did that to my daughter.
Oh, you know me good enough because you know we're going to do the same thing.
Tongue in cheek. Yeah. So, yeah, so much to say here. But, yeah, we got to cut him loose for this time.
We do. We do. I
Yeah.
think it's something we probably want to come back and touch later on. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
in this season of life, I'm celebrating 50 years. You know what I'm saying? I'm celebrating being on this earth for half a century. I'm grateful for so many different things. But more importantly, I'm grateful that God has given me the presence of mind to choose to be better, whatever capacity I feel as man, and not be bitter. You feel me?
I ain't got nothing more, man.
To God be the glory. Great
Yeah.
things he's done and continues to do.
That's
Stay
it.
focused.
Peace.
There you have it, y'all. I hope you've enjoyed your time with us. Marriage is about mutual love and mutual respect, and it works for those willing to make it work. Real talk, our spouses are treasured jewels given to us to make life better. And the sooner we learn to value one another will be the sooner we become the absolute best versions of ourselves we can be. Until next time, peace.